Hey guys, DPX here, and today, kind of random, but I feel like counting down the top 20 N64 games again. I know I already counted down the best N64 games twice already, but both those lists were stupid, and if I haven't already, I'm deleting them from YouTube. And this is the real deal. Alright? Now, I'm cutting the one game per franchise rule for this, and this is 20, and this is not my opinion. All right, I'm uh I might do a list in the future telling you my opinion, but here are the top 20 best games on Nintendo 64. At number 20 is Space Station Silicon Valley. Now, I know what you're wondering. What the hell is Space Station Silicon Valley? Exactly. But that's one thing it deserves more of. Oh, Space Station Silicon Valley, yeah, like one of the best games on the Nintendo 64. Yes, Space Station Silicon Valley is a hidden gem on the Nintendo 64, and I may cover it pretty soon. Um, Space Station Silicon Valley was made by DMA Software and Take-Two Interactive. DMA Software, you know what they're known as now? Rockstar North. If you didn't know, they made GTA and no, they made GTA, Just Cause, and Red Dead Redemption. So yeah, and um, it's a nice like open world game, and definitely deserves more people to play. I worded that incorrectly, but you know what I mean. At number 19 is Conker's Bad Fur Day. Conker's Bad Fur Day was originally going to be a cute and a cute little 3D platformer called Conker's Quest. But then Rare decided to go big and make it, well, like, yeah, you know what it is. Conker's Bad Fur Day, well, I suck at it, so that's that, but it's one of those more popular open world games on the Nintendo 64, though it might not have been as popular as as it is now when it came out. I mean, like, no. It's more popular now than it was when it came out. When it came out, it was not really that popular. Some people call it a hidden gem just because it wasn't that popular when it came out. It was more popular after it came out. I I wouldn't call that a hidden gem because many people know what it is now. But Conker's Bad Fur Day is has like everything that you need to be mature in a funny way. Like it has I'm not even kidding. There is a boss named the Great Mighty Pooh. That deserves a spot on the list. At number 18 is The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Now, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask is one of the best Legend of Zelda games out there. It's definitely not as good as another Zelda game that I'll get to later on, but it's definitely one worth playing. Like, I put it number 2 on my top 10 Zelda games list before Breath of the Wild, of course, came out, but it wasn't my choice. It was my stupid brother's choice to put at number 2. But yeah, but it's still like a really great game, and it kind of did hurt to put it this low on the list. But you know, again, maybe there's another Zelda game on the list. Yeah, maybe. At number 17 is Snowboard Kids and Snowboard Kids 2. Snowboard Kids 1 and 2. Okay, I kind of might say I cheated here. If it sounds like I'm quiet, because, anyways, you might say I cheated here, and that's because, well, Snowboard Kids 1 and Snowboard Kids 2 are pretty much the same game. Like, really, they are pretty much the same. Snowboard Snowboard Kids 1 and 2 they're pretty much just as good as each other. And they're from the same franchise and same gameplay mechanics and everything. So, yeah, there's no better choice than to put both games on the list. Due to the lack of sales, though, both games didn't really catch on as well as other N64 games. And also, if you were wondering, what about 1080 snowboarding? Don't worry, I didn't forget that. But the Snowboard Kids 1 and Snowboard Kids 2 are still better. I said it. Yep, and Snowboard Kids 1 and 2, you can customize your character, and it's just a timeless gem that more people should have played. And number 16 is Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. Now, the Nintendo 64 was a pretty good console for Star Wars. Many people might not recognize it, but Star Wars is a very big video game franchise. Probably not as big of a movie franchise as it is video games, but it's gotten actually more video games than movies. But and Star Wars Shadows of the Empire is one of the best games, one of the best Star Wars games, and one of the best games on the Nintendo 64. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. Want to know what's cool about it? The second you start up the game, you start with the battle on Hoth that you see me playing right now, and I'm sucking at it. Like, seriously, I'm keep leaving the battle by accident, like how you just saw me return to the battle. Yeah, actually, no. Anyways, uh, yeah, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire is pretty good, but who's to say this is the only Star Wars game? Huh. At number 15 is actually pretty surprising that it's one of the best N64 games, and the fact that everyone could agree on that is WWF No Mercy. Now, there has never really been a wrestling game so good as No Mercy has. Now, I'm not saying No Mercy is like a masterpiece, because like there are better games out there. But I mean, like, no, this WWF No Mercy is a solid title for the Nintendo 64, and no other wrestling game has managed to be a solid title. I wouldn't call it a must-have because wrestling doesn't really appeal to any. Well, not no, it doesn't appeal to everyone. But this is a wrestling game that even non-wrestling fans can enjoy, and even with 64 characters, 65 counting your own custom character, and more than that because you could make more than one custom character. This game is a blast to play. Enough said. At number 14 is Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. Now, this right here is one of my personal favorite N64 games, and it's Kirby. Uh, the the first 3D Kirby game, like real 3D Kirby game, um, Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards, seems like it's both 2D and 3D, and it kind of is. One of the only games, no, not one of the only games on the N64 like that, but I mean, it is your stereotypical Kirby game, of course. Kirby 64 is another game that you should definitely play on the Nintendo 64. And if you don't have a Nintendo 64, emulators. That's that goes for every single game on this list, by the way. And every single console too. But Kirby 64 is definitely the greatest N64 game of all time. Oh wait. There are still there's still 13 more entries. um Fuck. At number 13 is Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Everyone wanted Pokemon to come to the big screen. Everyone wanted Pokemon to be on the newest console. And though we didn't quite get the huge Pokemon we were expecting to be on a console, this is close enough. Well, maybe Pokemon Stadium is closer. But this is actually pretty fun. Like, it might not look that fun, especially because of how slow you frickin' move. Like how I'm moving in this gameplay footage. But it may but it is pretty fun. Try it out for yourself. This is a game that many people have been wanting a sequel to be for. Like, many people have been wanting there to be a sequel to this game for the 3DS or the dead Wii U. Now that though we kind of got a sequel in this game in the form of Pokemon Go, this is still a pretty good game. And this game you play as Todd Snap, snapping pictures of Pokemon and having to show Professor Oak that he caught Pokemon. Well, that's what I would assume that would happen. because why else would he be doing this? Yeah, it's Pokemon Snap. The runner-up to 20 through 11 is Perfect Dark. Now, Perfect Dark being a spiritual successor to GoldenEye, Perfect Dark was a huge hit. What am I saying? It wasn't like a phenomenon or anything. But Perfect Dark was a great game. It's pretty much if you took GoldenEye and made it a bit more grittier and, well, as the title implies, dark and perfect. So yeah, but this um yeah, Perfect Dark is a nice game, but it can be very difficult. Very, very difficult. And unfair at times. Okay? Now there's only one more from this half of the list. What could it be? Huh. At number 11 is Paper Mario. Now, uh, the best Mario RPG is Super Mario RPG, okay? But this is the reason why everyone loves Paper Mario so much is that it tried to capture the joy that Super Mario RPG had, and it does a pretty good job with it. As you can see, I'm only at the beginning in this footage, but there's so much more to do in it. So I'm just don't just think the game's bad. I'm just being an idiot in this gameplay capture. This has one of the most beloved. This is one of the most beloved game franchises, like side franchises ever made before. Everyone loves this Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, but people like to hate on Super Paper Mario and Paper Mario Sticker Stars. And I'm not sure about the color splash, but this is a pretty good game. And the fact is, it didn't make 10 through 1. By the way, there's going to be a lot of Mario on this list, just so you know. At number 10 is Mario Party 2. Now, say all you want about Mario Party, like the current franchise. Yeah, it's not really going too well for that franchise. But we can all agree that the original three are the best ones, and the second one is the best one. Um, Unofficial title as the game that ruins friendships. This is a very fun party game that you can get all your friends in and play. It's really fun. And it's Mario Party 2, the best in the series. The series that has 10 games, 13 counting the games without without numbers in it, like the handheld ones, and actually 14 counting the e-reader version of what was it, like 7, 6, 5, 4, I don't know. Yeah, Mario Party 2 is a fantastic game, but only makes number 10 because it's Mario Party. There are some better games out there. Yeah. Number 8 is Bomberman 64. Bomberman 64 is a beloved N64 game. And though Bomberman Hero is a fan favorite, it's definitely Bomberman 64 that is that makes the top that makes the spot for one reason. It kept its gameplay mechanic. And just don't really talk about its sequel. The second attack, it's not as good. Bomberman 64. See, I just messed up here. I died. And I lost. Bomberman 64 is a great game, nonetheless. But Bomberman 64, it's just Bomberman on Nintendo 64. How can you go wrong there? Number 8 is Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Now, okay, first of all, you might be wondering why I don't have my own gameplay for this game of every other game. Well, my Star Wars Rogue Squadron doesn't. It's glitches every time I play it. Seriously. Anyways, let's not talk about how mine glitches. Let's talk about how good of a game this is. This is one of the best Star Wars games ever and spawned a trilogy better than the prequels. I believe there's a third Rogue Squadron. Anyways, I believe this takes place in between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. And being really good. I told you there's going to be another Star Wars game on the list. And trust me, there are 4 Star Wars games on Nintendo 64. This was a great console for Star Wars. At number 7 is Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie is... It's Banjo-Kazooie, okay? You knew it was making the list. You saw the thumbnail of the video. Hopefully I remember to make it that thumbnail. Uh, you saw it. The Banjo-Kazooie was the mascot, pretty much, of Rare. Rare was one of Nintendo's golden boys at the time. Rare was pretty darn rare. Not to mention, Banjo-Kazooie also had a nice sequel called Banjo-Tooie. Honorable mention goes to that. But Banjo-Kazooie is still better. Next up at number 6 is Star Fox 64. Star Fox 64 was revolutionary for Nintendo. Not really gonna say it was a revolutionary game and all that, but for Nintendo, it kind of changed them. It was Nintendo's first game to have voice acting. I like how the original Star Fox was Nintendo's first game to have polygons. Huh. Nintendo's first to everything is Star Fox. Anyways, Star Fox 64 is hailed as one of the greatest games Nintendo has ever produced. And you know what? I'm going to say that too. Star Fox 64 is a wonderful game. Many people love it to death. Okay? It is great and deserved the number 6 spot on my list. At number 5 is Mario Kart 64. Mario Kart 64 is hailed as the best Mario Kart game, though I don't quite agree with that. I'd call it one of the best ones. Mario Kart 64 is a great game. And though it may not, it may actually have less characters than the original. I'm not sure. It probably does. It's still better than the original. Because, come on, it's Mario Kart. How can you go wrong here? You don't release a bad Mario Kart game. I mean, seriously. Yeah. Mario Kart. Number 4 is Super Smash Brothers, the original. This spawned one of Nintendo's biggest franchises ever. Uh, this was this gave this took many Nintendo characters and mixed them together, and even popularized Captain Falcon, Ness, and I guess Fox wasn't that popular, and Samus. I don't know. Fox and Samus were both popular back then, but Ness and Captain Falcon, no one knew who they were. This went on to be, like I said, one of Nintendo's biggest franchises, and this is a pretty big game. Means a lot to Nintendo today. At number 3 is Super Mario 64. You guys saw this one coming. Don't deny that. You guys definitely, definitely saw this coming. Super Mario 64 was the launch title. The launch title for the Nintendo 64. Alright? It was the launch title. One of the best launch titles ever made. No one could do launch titles as good as Nintendo can. I mean, no one. Maybe for the Switch, they could have done better launch titles, but Breath of the Wild, damn. Anyways, this was like the game that defined 3D platforming and also changed video games as a whole. That automatically earns it a spot on the list. At number 2 is GoldenEye 007. Though Doom might have like spawned the FPS genre, GoldenEye perfected it. GoldenEye 007 was a great game. One of the greatest games of all time. And GoldenEye 007 is, in fact, the movie's kind of an afterthought. After this game, when people think GoldenEye, people immediately think the game, not the movie. Now, I'm not sure if any any game, any movie tie-in came that good. This is the best This is the best movie-based game of all time. But that's really not saying much because a lot of them are trash. But though, GoldenEye is a masterpiece. Though it's probably obvious, and this wasn't top 20, here are some honorable mentions. And at number 1, you guys could have all guessed this, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Besides the newly made Breath of the Wild, this game is considered the best game of all time. Yes, Super Mario 64 and GoldenEye, they are both two of the greatest games ever made. But this for a while was considered the greatest game humanly made. Yeah. It's the best game of all time for good reasons. There's nothing really to complain about. I mean, seriously. The gameplay is neat. This is one game, that one N64 cartridge that you could probably play with none other. Alright? There are tons of great N64 games that I still probably missed, with the honorable mentions and 20 games. I missed some, definitely. So, what do you think? What are your favorite N64 games? And you can list as many as you want. 10, 15, 20, 30, 100. I don't care. Be sure to like this video, comment, subscribe it, and I will see you guys next time. Boy, this video took a while to make. Oof. Finally, I'm done with it. Goodbye.